Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the stream. It is 9 o'clock. It is Monday, August 2nd, and we are going to be playing a semifinal matchup from the Old School Magic Summer Derby. So we got a great matchup for you. Best 3 out of 5 today, and that is going to be against Seth Roncoroni and Jeff White. So with me tonight to help me co-host is going to be Pez Unholy. You're going to hear Pez's voice throughout the stream for the commentary with me. So that will definitely be something that I'm looking forward to doing. All right, so here's just a quick look at the decks, a taste of what we've got going on. And with that, I just want everybody to remember that my regularly scheduled stream is every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. I play 3 rounds of Old School Magic with the Northern Paladins as part of the Tuesday Night Gauntlet. So don't forget to follow. Join me on Tuesday nights, and it is generally a good time. So with that, we are going to go into the room with the players, and we are going to just have a quick conversation with them before we get things going. So gentlemen, thank you very much for allowing me to stream this, and welcome to the stream. Congrats to you both for making it this far.
Thanks, Rich. Thanks for streaming it, man.
Yeah, I definitely looking forward to this matchup. So Jeff, you haven't been on my stream before, right?
No, first time, long time.
Yeah. So Jeff hasn't been on the stream. Seth is an old hat to this. He's been on both ends with doing the commentary and as a player, and has played against me on the stream. So now you guys have. I'm assuming you've taken a look at each other's decks.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got Jeff's deck on the screen right now. So what I did is I actually have just your main deck right here on the screen for a moment, Jeff. So it basically looks like Troll Disco, or should I say Troll Dixico, but so you went. Did you go 8-0 or 7-1?
7-1 in the main. In fact, my only loss was to one of Seth's twin decks, which was Michael Scheffenecker.
Oh, okay. Alrighty. So this looks like a lot of normal things that you would see in a Troll Disco deck. The flash counter looks like it's something that's a little bit out of the ordinary there, but I see no normal counter spells, no mana drains, nothing along those lines. So can you talk to me about that inclusion of flash counter? Basically just as a surprise is what I'm assuming?
I think I picked that up from Olan. I think he's a big fan of the singleton flash counter. I'm still on the fence about it, but it's I think looking at some of the lists, a lot of them run like a one flash counter to protect the trolls, protect the discs from time to time. So I figured I'd try it out.
Okay, alrighty. And then now I'm gonna bring up Seth's deck on the stream. We've seen it a few times here on the stream. Now, Seth, obviously everything has been running really, really well. You had quite the excellent comeback game the other day on stream, which was absolutely amazing. Now, with this deck, do you think that there are any changes that you would make for a future version of this deck?
Probably slight sideboard changes. I did miss the regrowth a little bit, but the mana's really tight in a 4-strip world. Like, there were a few games where I wish I could have, like, DT'd for it, but I don't see how I get the Emerald in, so probably really just the sideboard I'd adjust a little bit, probably add a third plow, and maybe the Deralar's not needed, and maybe it should just be a Sarah.
Well, I mean, with that art, obviously, I think that you need it against Jeff's deck, because, I mean...
The dick is based off. My dick, I guess this is where I drop the dick joke that mine's bigger.
Right, right. And then real quick, what I'll do is I'll bring up Jeff's sideboard. Speaking of dick jokes, I mean,
oh, please don't.
The big dick energy fluxes there with the throbbing cock there. So there you go. There's that. So, and we'll talk about the decks a little bit more after the matchup, and once things are complete, and then obviously for the stream we'll talk about the decks as well. So Jeff, you are the better seed, so that means that you get to go first. Gentlemen, you'll be doing best 3 out of 5, so no sideboards for games 1 or 2. And with that, I'm going to mute myself here, and good luck, gentlemen, and let's have some fun games.
Thanks again, Rick.
Yep.
Good luck, Seth.
Good luck, Jeff. All right, 1 and 3, man.
Alrighty, so we've got the match ready and raring to go, and Pez should be joining me for commentary here in just a moment.
Yep, thanks so much for having me today, Rich.
Yep. Hey, how's it going tonight?
Doing extremely well.
Glad you could do this on such short notice, man. I definitely appreciate it.
I was definitely going to be watching the match anyways. Might as well commentate.
Yeah, right. And then on the stream, Blazer84 subscribed, so thank you, Blazer, for that. 8 months. So obviously you played the same deck as Seth, so if anybody's going to have insight on this deck, it's definitely going to be you. Now, Seth has had to run the gamut, a whole bunch of different decks he's played against, and he beat a similar deck in the quarterfinals. So what are your thoughts on this matchup and against Jeff's deck in particular for Seth?
Well, it's similar that they had trolls, but I think they were both approaching like the concept very differently. One of them had more of a control element with lots of counter spells.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff, on the other hand, is playing something kind of almost similar to us, where he's running 11 burn spells. It's very aggressive. It's almost like a different archetype than the other guy, just with those spells right there. He has options to Sonic Blast or our big 4/4s. I think it's going to be probably a pretty tough matchup for both of them.
Now, for the viewers, obviously, I would love it if we go, 5 games. But as a player, now you've been in more of these situations than I have. As a player, obviously, I'm assuming that you want to have as short as match as possible.
Yeah, shortest match as possible, shortest game as possible. That's why we create these burn decks.
Mm-hmm. So Jeff running the one copy of Uthden Troll. Blazer, of course, in chat going, go Jeff, oi, 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 because of the Uthden Troll. What is your opinion on the Uthden Troll as a one-of in a Troll Disco deck?
Well, Says Troll is awesome, and Uthden Troll is almost Says Troll. I guess sometimes, he is running Blood Moon.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of relevant because he won't have the swamp, and then he's just going to have like a 2/2, and he is not playing the jet, so he won't even be able to regenerate. It says Troll.
Right.
No, the one of Uthden sounds pretty solid.
Yeah, I'm liking the aggression in Jeff's deck, and like you said, basically not running it as a control deck per se with the lack of counter spells, counter magic, or whatnot. And as we discussed with Jeff, the one of flash counter is basically a surprise. So obviously it's done Jeff pretty well. I mean, this is the semifinals. There's only one match to go after this, so he's obviously doing something right.
That flash counter probably took a lot of people by surprise game one, but we've seen his deck list, and we're not running swords, and we're probably not going to waste a burn spell on a troll anyways.
Right. But, I mean, it could end up countering something later in the game when it comes to like a Psy Blast or a Lightning Bolt that could deal some extra damage to Jeff himself. So we'll see what happens. So it looks like
Absolutely.
now the mulligans have been resolved, and maybe. And, yep, Seth is finally going down to 5, putting 2 back, and getting ready to go. Now, one thing that when you played, and I know you like to mulligan very aggressively, so does Seth mulligan as aggressively as you do?
Oh man, he's the one that's telling me to do it all the time. It really just depends on the kind of hands that we get set up with. There's certain pretty key plays that we're looking for. Like this would be a great mulligan to drop this off.
Well, I mean, Jeff went Chain Lightning on turn 1, and then Seth dropped a Pump Knight, but Jeff has another Chain Lightning, so...
It's going to be a war of attrition.
Right. Threats as often as possible or something that you definitely want to do with this deck, I'm going to assume.
Absolutely trying to apply the pressure early and then close it up with a burn.
Now, I've noticed that in the matches that you played against Seth and a couple of Seth's matches that a lot of times it's about sticking one threat and keeping it on the table and just letting that one workhorse do as much as possible. Is that a normal thing that happens throughout the batch matches, those 8 rounds?
Yeah, Alliance first turn or an early order is definitely going to be able to apply that pressure early, and we're trying to look into bring their life total down, 6-8 points so they can close it up with a burn. So Meecher's Factories, the 2 power guys are all super important to it.
Now, Jeff is running 2 copies of Maze of Ith in his main deck. That first Maze of Ith met quite the end to the Strip Mine. Obviously, when it comes to the factory, you don't want to block, but the pump goes on, and Jeff uses another bolt. So using all these resources early, Jeff is basically taking the control elements from his deck, trading 1 for 1, and then that's about it so far. So that's basically the game plan that you want, right? I mean,
yeah, this is Jeff's game plan: is to 1 for 1 remove our stuff. Hopefully, stick a troll later on. That's going to be really hard for us to remove.
Now, 1 Sarah Angel in the main deck, and that means that Jeff would have to use 2 removal spells on that. So we'll have to see if
He's
that
also running
Sarah Angel
Sonic Blast,
does come out. Yeah, oh yeah, Side Blast too. Now, Seth, nothing on the table for him really right now. Just a land and a couple of Moxen, and Jeff has the untapped Lotus.
There's some action right now.
Sweet Summer Magic Demonic Tutor. Gotta love that.
Oh yeah, his collection's phenomenal. Personally, it just looks like a bunch of 4th edition to me.
Then Jeff taking a drink while Seth is looking through his deck. So the longer this match goes, that means maybe the more drinks that Jeff has. So maybe that's an advantage for Seth, or maybe it's an advantage for Jeff. Who knows? Here's one thing that I like, as a courtesy, Seth is just shuffling his deck and then said he was going to go, so Jeff decided to continue to take his turn, basically trying to keep the games up at a decent pace. You don't see that a lot on webcam games. People are just afraid to miss something, it seems like. So
both these guys have been playing Magic for over 20 years. Are pretty, you know, most of everything that could possibly happen.
And then our friend Earthworm Jim in chat gifting us some subs to a couple of the viewers. So both you and Earthworm Jim were at the Kumite over the weekend, which I heard that you did fairly well at that event. A little birdie told me that you won a title belt.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, man. It was good seeing all the people. It's been too long, man. Almost, was it like a year and a half since we've seen everybody.
Yeah. Earthworm Jim, for those who are not familiar, formerly known as Bruins 545.
Seth taking the opportunity to chain lightning while Jeff doesn't have 2 right up. Just firing burn at each other's face.
Yeah, just a little bit here, a little bit there. Now, one thing that is surprising is that Jeff is running Blood Moon and has Chain Lightnings. You know, that is just one of those things that seems a little odd to me, that if you're giving your opponent the red mana, that you would continue to run
balance.
things like Chain Lightning.
Blood Moon is just so powerful against some of these decks. It's like, it's a 1-card strategy. You play Blood Moon, sometimes people just back it up. So we got a balance with 1 card and 1 land, no creatures.
Seems like a decent play. Balance is such a strong card. Let's Mind Twist you. Let's Armageddon you. Let's Wrath you. Let's do all kinds of fun things.
Oh, it's a completely unique effect in a card. It's extremely powerful.
And of course, one of those cards that, you know, I'm sure that whatever playtesting that they did when it came to the beginnings of the games, they weren't thinking about the Moxen when it came to balance.
What is he pitching?
Can't quite.
Oh, it's a Psionic Blast.
Oh, Psionic Blast, yeah.
Okay. You've got to throw away 2 of these lands, too.
A little difficult to see some of the stuff on Jeff's side of the table because of the Wi-Fi connection that he has, but all right. So is Jeff going to activate the orb here, or is he just?
He's already activate. He's already processing the balance. He's got to finish it up before he can do the orb. Okay, he decided to keep the factory.
Seems all right.
Check on a bad
He's probably happy that he played that Lotus now.
Mm-hmm. Firing back at you the Chain Lightning.
Trying to keep the life totals straight on the stream. I've got Seth at 13 and Jeff at 11.
So it doesn't look like Jeff had another land in his hand. He top decked that Badlands right there. That could have been real bad on the balance.
Nothing wrong with that. Oh, cracking the lotus.
Sedge Troll? Yes,
Sedge
sir.
Troll. Okay. Seems good.
Did not choose to attack, so you can regenerate the troll.
Strip mine. Okay, that could get rid of the Badlands, making the troll a little bit smaller and eliminating Jeff's way to regenerate. Alright, so let's see what Jeff responds with. Alright, he's swinging. Alright, so...
Looks like he's strip mining in the combat or before combat.
Yeah, it makes sense to do it inside combat. I guess that, you know, Jeff can float the black and throw a regeneration shield on. Ooh, what do we got going on here? Shatter. Okay. All right, so
we'll be taking just 2 from the troll. Then, there's a swamp. All right, so 11s each. Here we go. We got the chain lightning.
Okay, there we go. Chain lightning to get rid of the troll.
Let's strip mine.
And another strip mine.
There we go.
Might as well take out the factory. Might as well, right?
Okay, battle of attrition, man. They're both off the top.
Seth still has all 3 of his colors due to the mocks and the plateau.
We don't have blue.
All right, Jeff drawing 2 mocks in a row. Strip these. I think that last card in Jeff's hand is the disc.
I actually kind of do.
City of Brass.
3 runners for Jeff.
Jeff now having access to all the colors. Still hasn't done anything with that same card that's been sitting around. Seth playing with that Soul Ring now. Again, beautiful Summer Magic cards.
Potentially sets him up for good next turn to Darylor or Star Angel. Right, we got Shatter.
Okay. Soul Ring down.
Both Shatters gone.
Another plateau. Two Pump Knights in the main deck, right? So we've already seen both of them.
Correct. Taking a damage, what are we playing? That's Tutor?
Seems okay.
What's he get here? Just Ancestral?
Probably just Ancestral. I don't think he plays it here. No points. Think that you know, showing some discipline by not playing it immediately, waiting for Seth to do something, possibly do it on end step.
Yeah, he doesn't want to walk into like a Wheel of Fortune or something.
Mm-hmm.
Just move that.
Oh, he just does it anyway.
Does it anyway.
Disenchant. Okay, there we go.
Okay.
Those sweet artist proofs. Disenchanting the Chaos Orb. And you called it.
Into the bolt.
Mm-hmm. All right, life total discrepancy.
Yep, he got him a little bit mixed up right there. Looks like we're good now. Fireball, Shivan Dragon, and another red card. Seth had the Twister in his hand too.
Gotcha.
Seth hasn't played a land yet or anything this turn.
Discarding the Twister. I mean, he didn't have the blue mana, so.
No blue mana.
Yeah, chat saying that Jeff had an opportunity to take out one of the plateaus when Seth was missing land drops.
Mm-hmm. Factory. That's it.
And then factory from Seth as well. So does Seth have all gas in his hand? Is that why he didn't play land, or do you think he just forgot?
Might have a couple blue cards. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm. Probably has more than one blue card now then.
Mm-hmm. After he wheeled. He's thinking.
Disenchant. Taking out a Mox. Alright, bolt in response. Seth's life total getting dangerously low here. Are the life totals transposed? Yes, I did accidentally transpose life totals. Thank you. My fault. Here we go. Sorry, guys. Alright, so Seth's at 5, Jeff's at 10.
And we're in Seth's end step, I think. Yep.
Psyblast. Okay. Clinging to one life. Alright, Underground Sea. I'm assuming that if Jeff had a burn spell, he would have just played it.
Mm-hmm.
He might have a Side Blast. No, I think he still would have just played that too.
It. No, because he only has one right open on that side. He's only bolted one.
He might have a disc.
I don't think he wants to tap out to play a disc. That's 2 bolts or a chain lightning and an attack from the factory to game over it.
Twitch chat giving me a hard time because I goofed up on the life totals. I got it right now, guys.
Players know the life totals, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay, just shipping the turnover. Access to blue mana now, not in City of Brass.
Lion.
Another lion.
Another lion. Seems good. Lots of cards in the graveyards. Now, one thing they can't see on stream, we can kind of see the screen that Jeff is watching the match on. And it seems that Jeff has both players, both of their webcams on the stream. Now, if I'm not streaming a match and I'm playing one-on-one, I just go full screen on their stuff because, yeah, I don't care about seeing my stuff.
I used to do that because it made it more like you're playing a real match, against a person
Yeah.
looking at your computer. After I did that a while, I watch both the matches also. I want to make sure that I'm accidentally tipping my hand over. I want to make sure that all my permits are in play. You can see them.
When I first started doing webcam games, I had my webcam directly above the play area, and which was fine. It gives a great view of everything. But then I was using a Sylvan library, and I was showing my opponent every single card on top of my deck. So, I did end up moving my webcam back, so now that it's at an angle. And that's something that you just kind of have to be cognizant of. Players do tip their hands to their cameras quite frequently. I generally will let my opponent know. It's like, hey, tip your hand back, man.
That would hope most opponents would say something like that with good sportsmanship, but never can be too sure. So Jeff's in the tank pretty hard right here. A lot of options that Seth could have with those 3 cards. Just because he's at 1 doesn't mean he's completely out yet.
Right. Now, Seth only has 1 red mana available at this second.
Yep, so you can't shoot back a chain lightning or anything.
Right.
So I think if that was it, it would have been cast a minute ago. There's no way that he could instant them out or anything.
All right, Maze of Ith from Jeff.
3,
4
4
mana,
play
there's
the
the disc. Oh no, Mind
Twist.
Twist. Ooh,
That's big.
that's good. And that's for Seth's whole hand.
Yep. Do we have an instant we're going to fire off first? We got Disenchant.
Disenchant. All right, get rid of that Mox. Mind Twist and a Plateau.
Yeah, he was definitely saving that Disenchant, hoping that Factor was going to attack that turn.
All
Or
right,
block the next turn.
So, if Seth can top deck a burn spell, which it doesn't look like he did. Gonna turn those lions sideways. Maybe. Was he thinking about the factory? Oh, did he maybe drew another disenchant?
Or force him to keep him on the block. Well, he's going to Maze of Ith. He's going to get one of his blockers back anyways.
Oh, yeah, forgot about the maze. Alright, so I jumped the gun with the life total change.
So 4-1. A lot can happen now. Sonic Blast can make it a draw.
A Side Blast for the draw. Now, Seth did this the other day, too. He had a very, very low life total and was able to stabilize and come back for the win.
Yep, as long as you're more than 0, you're in it.
Right. Yeah, 1's not 0. And as long as you don't have a City of Brass and accidentally tap it. Now, for those in chat who are not aware, City of Brass has a triggered ability that it deals damage to you. If you tap the City of Brass for mana, with the trigger on the stack cast an instant, you can actually mitigate the 1 point in damage. So if Seth did have a City of Brass, he could tap it for a colored mana. With the trigger on the stack, he could cast a lightning bolt or whatever, and he could end up winning because of it with that trigger on the stack.
Sure. Jeff just shifts the turn back.
All right, so Seth coming in with everything.
Seth is
he's
swinging
got
with
to.
the team, all three of them. Okay. Activating factory. Declaring blocks now. No fast effect.
Manabird says, I assume Seth is playing Healing Salve if he made it this far in the Derby.
It does fit our theme of 3 for 1.
Yes.
Okay, what's he untapping with?
Healing Salve being the worst of the 5 boons.
But it's in the best color.
Of course.
So untapping factory, using factory to block Alliance,
Okay.
pumping it so it doesn't die, and we're taking 2.
Taking 2. 2 to 1.
Another lion.
I'm gonna.
Okay, Jeff, let's see what you draw.
Okay. Nothing like a nail biter in game number 1.
Oh, it's been a great game, man. These are definitely the reasons I play Magic. Three. Got blocker.
Okay, so he's another blocker. So he's got 2 blockers and he got the maze.
He's got no red mana open, and just the black to regenerate,
Yeah.
or use a factory to block, one or the other.
Sedge Troll on Jeff's side of the table. For those who are not aware, that says vagina.
Just wanted to point that out to the viewers. Okay, just shifting the turnover. Jeff draws.
Jeff with all the lands.
He's flooding out a little bit right now.
Yeah.
Def-
Oh, and
definitely
Soul
flooding
Ring.
out.
Okay. Jeff in the tank. He considered tapping that Soul Ring for something. Well, if he swings with his troll, then Seth has to block. So,
Yep, has to.
yeah. And the troll's a 3/3. Jeff's still able to deal with two creatures on the attack. So, provided Seth doesn't have a disenchant. Yeah, in the chat saying it would be cool if either player had lightning bolts in their decks. I'm not sure if they've got any left.
Maybe they're sandbagging one in the hand, waiting for the other one to make the move too.
It could be. Now, like if Seth has a lightning bolt, this is where that singleton flash counter comes in. Controlled chaos in chat. I wonder who has the Psyblast. I'd put money on both.
Yeah, probably both of them. That's what makes this game so interesting, because even if you can kill him, it might turn into a draw. You don't want to burn somebody out because he can instant speed kill you instead.
So if it does go
Seth's
to a
coming
draw, and then we end up with 6 games. All right, so Seth going on the offensive here. Activating the factory, swinging with both the factory and the lions.
Give me a factory.
Okay, so here comes the disenchant more than likely.
There's There's that flash counter, right? You got it.
There's the flash counter. Flash counter for the win.
5 flash.
And Jeff takes that one down. Wow.
That was a good one.
Such a close game. Such a close game. That's what we want to see, right?
Absolutely. So the next game is still no sideboards.
Yeah, no sideboard for this.
Seth will be on the play.
Well, I'm glad it didn't end up in a draw. I mean, it again, would have been good for the stream, I suppose.
It's very possible it happens one of the other games.
Mm-hmm. That singleton flash counter doing its job. So awesome. And then Seth using every single one of his disenchants and them all doing some work. Alright, so I'm going to bring the decks up on stream while they are shuffling up. First we're going to show Jeff's deck here. Again, Jeff is playing Troll Disco. Bunch of burn, a couple of shatters, fireball, one flash counter, and then some restricted cards. And 2 copies of Mazavith. And both of those did some work. 3 discs, 4 trolls, 1 Upton troll, and 1 Shivan dragon.
Yeah, Mazavith's incredibly powerful. It's one of the reasons why we kind of stay away from the Serendipity Freaks lately.
Yeah.
It just turns into a huge liability if they play just one of those.
Mm-hmm. And then we'll take a look at, again, at Seth's deck. So we saw both of the Orders of Leaper out of Seth's deck in that game. We saw all of the Lions. Haven't seen the Daryl or the Sarah Angel yet, but we do have plenty of magic to play. Seth has a lot of firepower as well, with just 1 additional burn spell that Jeff does not have, because Seth is playing 4 copies of Chain Lightning as opposed to just 3. Those disenchants have been pretty good so far. I'm assuming they've been good throughout the entire tournament too.
Yeah, it's something that we kind of did something different. We normally don't even run disenchants except on our sideboard. We just felt with so many different shop decks and decks such as like a troll and just getting through all the Mishra's Factory, that 4 seemed like the right number for this tournament.
Mm-hmm. Factory is such a good card.
It's most played card in the entire format.
Obviously, people are running Moxen and Soul Ring, and catching the occasional Chaos Orb is always nice too when it comes to the disenchant.
Yeah, if we got a real aggressive start, we could disenchant, strip mine some of the resources down, and just hold them down, let our Lions do some work.
That balance looked like it was going to turn the tables for Seth, but did not end up doing what it needed to do. Jeff drew lots of lands later in the game, but he was able to basically do whatever he wanted. So
yeah, he
lost you there for a minute.
Yeah, not sure what happened. Your room kicked me out for a second. I wonder if I said something wrong.
I'm gonna unlock the room just in case something happens again. That way you don't have to wait for me. Alright, so Seth's gonna be going first. Looks like
that was a close game. Seth mulliganed to 5 too. Remember that game? And he held out with 1 for quite some time.
He mulliganed to 5, but had a couple of threats early. So I mean, that's definitely what you want when you have such an aggressive deck.
Yeah, going according to game plan, Jeff was fortunate to have the older spot removal. That's definitely the way he designed his deck too.
Seth accidentally bumping his camera. I'll make an adjustment for the stream.
Opening up with a strip on the factory.
All right, but Seth's still probably going to have access to 3 mana on turn 2.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if that shows that Jeff maybe doesn't have one of the 8 bolts or 7 bolts in his hand.
Mm-hmm. Sapphire. Sapphire Lotus. Okay. And Plateau. There's the chain. Alright, so Seth has red mana for days. Factory from Jeff. Strip Mine. Strip Mine, another polarizing card when it comes to old school Magic. To me, any game of old school Magic is a good game of old school Magic. I don't have to play 4 Strip Mines. I don't have to play 1 Strip Mine. I don't have to play any Strip Mines. I'll tell you what, though, playing on Tuesdays when we don't have access to Strip Mine makes me miss it quite a bit. And then I'll say that about Mind Twist or Library of Alexandria, and then I'll go play in a tournament and get my hand Mind Twist away over and over again. It's like, okay, that's fine. I'll go back to playing without Mind Twist for a while.
What is Jeff tutoring for? Is Jeff tutoring for that Mind Twist? Is going to get Ancestral?
2 cards in Seth's hand. Jeff did a lot of thinking when he cast the Demonic Tutor, looking back at his hand, looking through his deck, looking at his hand. So it's not as simple as Ancestral, I don't think. So maybe he is going for that Mind Twist. Or maybe Jeff wants to just stick a threat on the table.
I don't think he's going to sacrifice that lowest play side troll into nothing. If he hit with a Mind Twist and got like a Sonic Blast and draw something, that'd be huge. Oh, we just got the Ancestral. Ooh, just was cast. Maybe Brain Geyser?
Right, stripping the blue source. Lion. Lotus. 1 card left in Seth's hand. Alright, so we did go for the Ancestral. Earthworm Jim in chat says that you need to join one of our Tuesdays with your unsleeved pregame beater. Entrox, you missed a hell of a game 1. I'm glad that you're here for game 2 and beyond. Game 1 was a nail biter, and remember, this is the best 3 out of 5. So this could be we could be in for a long night here. It's hard to see on the stream because I have some things cropped out, but both players are using the same app on their phone, And one thing is that you'll see from time to time that either an ad will appear on the app or somebody will get a notification in the middle of their screen while playing the app. Now, what happens with this app from time to time is if you get a notification that it fakes out the phone and no longer keeps the phone on while the app is running. So, just one of those things. Gotta love technology. Blazer says, just got back to work on Monday after 3 weeks off. Gonna be hard to get up in about 5 hours because it's close to 4 a.m. here. Well, Blazer, as always, I love it when you join the streams. I know that my streams are pretty late for you, so thank you very much. So, Seth has a lion, Jeff has a factory.
Jeff is discarding.
Okay. Marineiro's desk.
Death throw was not good to him.
No.
Bring in the 2. Chooses not to block the factory. Soul Ring.
Alright, another mana source from Jeff. It's a Soul Ring.
Uh-oh, what we got here? Big mana, big dragon.
Shivan Dragon. Seems good. 5/5 flyer with fire breathing. With amazing art by Melissa Benson.
I'm scaring people for almost 30 years.
Now, the Shivan obviously is much better pre-board than it is post-board because Seth needs to either have a Chaos Orb or 2 bird spells.
Yeah, game 1 is definitely very good. I'm most likely siding it out.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to run it into a blue blast at 1 mana.
Mm-hmm.
Man's about to do some work here, though.
Yeah, Shivan Dragon seems a lot worse when it's 6 mana, gain 5 life.
Swinging him in.
I mean, this is just an easy
Just
no
Mars
block.
just takes the 2. Yep. Just been around a minute. He's not going to fall for that one.
Double bolt.
Ooh, but we're going to use 2 bolts and get rid of it.
I mean, you hate to do it, but you love to do it at the same time.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Right.
My City Brass off the top for Jeff. Access dual colors now.
So it looks like Seth doesn't have cards in his hand. Jeff has like 3 or 4 cards now.
Seth just exhausts his hand, so he's probably not going to be swinging on that Lions anymore. Easy block with a factory. Taking 1. Just trying to run the troll out there. Seth's got no hand, there's no reason not to.
Naked Troll, 2/2 for 3. Doesn't feel as good as a 3/3 regenerator for 4. He thought about turning it sideways. I mean, he can regenerate now with the city.
Yep. Gonna play another one?
Uthen Troll.
Is that the Uthen or? Okay.
That's the Uthen Troll. Oi, oi, oi.
That's in pretty rough shape right now. He's gonna need a top deck of balance after a chump block.
Swinging for 4. City of Brass. Seth County is mana. Oh boy.
Those shows are so powerful. Turns into a 3/3 now.
Now it's a 3/3, yep. And there's the disc. Blowing up the disc.
Still not taking care of those 2 trolls.
Still not looking very good for Seth, though. Yeah, feels bad.
Locking the big one.
And the hits just keep on coming.
And burn him out. That's the reach.
That is all the burn.
Alright, now
all right, so now we get to move into Sideboard. Alright, so first thing I'll do is we'll bring up Seth's deck. It's a deck that you know very, very well. Your Sideboard was 1 card or 2 cards different. So, Swords of Plowshares, obviously that's a no-brainer here. But what else are you thinking? The Blue Blast?
He's going to be bringing in... he's definitely bringing in swords. He's going to be bringing some amount of Blue Blasts because of the Troll. He's also concerned about the Blood Moons out of the sideboard. Quite possibly the Flash Fires also.
Mm-hmm.
And then he might be bringing in some of these slower cards. Maybe the Library, Sir Angel, Brain Geyser. Now, if you bring up Jeff's deck and talk about how he's going to sideboard this.
I'm bringing up... I've got Jeff's sideboard. So the way Jeff took his picture, I have to have his sideboard a little bit differently.
Oh, yeah, he's got it a little wonky. Yeah.
So,
I'm a little bit skeptical of saying this, because Mano's definitely the type of guy to watch us stream and text message Jeff right now our sideboard plan.
Mm-hmm.
But we had saw that he was bringing in the Psychic Purges. So that's going to be kind of a little bit of a chess match. If we know he's bringing in Psychic Purges because we have access to his deck list, he may not bring them in, because it's going to be a chess matchup if we're going to keep one toughness guys, or if he's going to bring these ones in. I definitely think he's going to be bringing in the Blood Moons, the Flash Fires. Now, when Chef played him, he said that Jeff brought in Red Elemental Blast. We're not entirely sure if maybe he put us on Serendib or Freets at that point and just didn't see them and wanted to be prepared. There's not too much. You can counter our Blue Blast with it. That's a little bit much, though. Cards he's taken out, probably taking out the Shivan Dragon, just because it's so big and it's red. It's easy to get rid of for 1 mana. Maybe some combination of like discs and chain lightnings. The chain lightnings, if he wants to keep the burn in, but if he's bringing in the Psychic Purges to get rid of our 1 toughness, he's probably bringing the chain lightnings out. They can be countered too with Blue Blast.
Sure. Chain lightning against decks that can throw them back at you. Obviously, most decks, if you could play an instant, you play an instant. Chain lightning being a sorcery is just kind of blah. And then the fact that you basically have to time that chain lightning and see if you can play it at a time where your opponent can't throw it back at you.
Yeah, and with him bringing in the 2 Blood Moons also, this is probably most likely he's taking these guys out.
Yeah. Blazer talking about if Psychic Purge was an instant. Psychic Purge was an instant in being main deck card all the time.
Yep, that is definitely a sorcery.
Mm-hmm. But the purges are nice because not just because of the discard, but because it hits the Pump Knights, it hits the Lions. You don't have to waste your bolts on them, and you don't have that extra unaccounted for damage. Psychic Purge dealing 1 to 1 toughness is definitely a nice thing. It's always just one of those, sometimes, that feel bad moment where it's like, well, I'm spending 1 mana, but, I'm only dealing 1 damage because the other 2 damage is wasted. So, but Psychic Purge definitely solves that problem.
And he also gets like maybe if Seth does a Wheel of Fortune, just having in his hand, getting like the free extra damage from it. If you get that discard with a wheel, it's almost like that Psychic Purge drew a card because it turns into a lightning bolt and then some.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with every once in a while just grabbing that 5 damage for something that people aren't expecting, like you said, balance or even wheel. Always nice to get it when somebody goes to wheel or balance. But we'll see what they do. I'm sure that they'll talk about it after the match. I'm sure we'll see some of the cards during the match. With the existence of Psychic Purge, do you, if you were playing against this deck right now, would you be hesitant when it comes to playing something like a Mind Twist?
Mind Twist is so powerful that I would never sideboard it out. It's just a tough call. It's this game is definitely going to be a lot more because you're not sure what Jeff's going to do. If he's going to try to level us up. And that's the chess match I was talking about, but it's definitely something to take into account before I play Mind Twist. You definitely don't want to hit 2 of those on that thing.
Oh, that would be brutal, wouldn't it?
That'd be awesome for Jeff, for sure. They'd probably get a fist pump.
Several derbies ago, somebody made the top 8 with 4 Psychic Purges in their main deck.
But, that was John Sexton.
And then open deck lists changed that whole dynamic.
Yes, it definitely does. It's almost like a separate tournament after you get to the final cut with being able to see the deck list.
Oh, definitely so. And like Seth was talking before the match about some people do a lot of playtesting and whatnot. This isn't like a real huge event. I mean, obviously, Summer Derby, Winter Derby, they're big events. Don't get me wrong, but Old School Magic isn't like, say Modern or Standard or something along those lines.
Hey, could you go in there? Seth's hand was tilted. Oh, he's mulligan anyways. But no, you're absolutely right with that. Seth did very little play testing. That was completely on Chef and me. Seth was buying a house. He was real busy. He kind of came up with the first couple drafts of the deck, and then Chef and me were hitting all the play testing. Yeah. Chef's got a giant collection. We were just jamming against like every deck possible for it. Mm-hmm. And we've been theorycrafting pretty hard. Like we have a Discord room with the 3 of us kind of chilling, and we've been theorycrafting pretty hard against Jeff's deck.
Nice.
Yeah, so Seth may say he hasn't been playing matches, but not like we haven't been talking about it.
Right. Well, that's what's nice about the team dynamic is that you can get input from other players.
Oh yeah, I'm real fortunate to be with these 2 guys, man. They really know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
That's on the play again, game 3 after a mulligan. We'll be going down to 6.
Yeah, so let's see what we got here. So glad we use the modern mulligan rules in Old School Magic.
It definitely lets you be a little bit more aggressive with your mulligan, looking for certain cards, looking for that balance, looking for that draw 7. We're going to be going down to 5.
Blazer makes a good point in chat. Says the thing with Old School is different arguments is sort of mutes when the players are old Pro Tour players who are used to gearing up for tourneys with playtesting. Like you change the format, but you can't take the spike out of the player. Oh, absolutely. And I was never a Pro Tour player or anything like that, but I played competitive Magic when it came to Modern and Standard for a long time, and it was really hard to turn that off. On my stream now, when I play on Tuesdays, sometimes I do go full spike and sometimes I go full spice. And sometimes it's a combination of both. That's what's great about old school, is that you can go full spice and, nobody's going to say, oh, your deck is terrible, even if you went, 0-6 and 0-12 in games or something along those lines. People are going to, compliment you on the card choices that you played and the story behind your deck.
We actually had a pretty lengthy discussion about this at the Kumite the last couple days.
Mm-hmm.
This format in the community is just so big that there's room for everybody. You got the guy that collects nothing but altars. You got the guy that's got alpha power. Everybody's in the same room. Some guys want to spike the term and they want to win everything. Some guy wants to play Divine Intervention and have you guys just bullshit for an hour. And there's room for everybody and everything is appreciated.
Right.
And it's a lot, like, just because you're spiked does not mean you can't be a member of the community. Because I take this community real seriously and I've spiked every tournament I've been in. It's just about making quality friendships and relationships over the years.
Well, I mean, the Divine Intervention Shahrazad deck is not something that's going to make you very many friends, though.
No, absolutely. I would never play against this guy ever. It doesn't mean I can't appreciate it, but I mean, I got shit to do.
Right. I considered playing a Shahrazad deck on the stream before, and I actually had something all set up so that I could keep track of the sub games and whatnot, but it seemed like way too much of a headache, and I was asked politely to not, so I didn't.
You got Seth leading out with a strip mine mulligan down to 5. A little bit of a slow hand, but it's probably got some functionality to it, so he's going to keep it. Jeff leads with Badlands Soul Ring.
Badlands Soul Ring. Nothing bad about that.
That's a real good start. Get rid of that color source.
You're getting a bunch of compliments in chat, Pez, about how you spoke, what you said, and Pez is too damn good. He could spike with Dirkwood Boars. Unfair advantage.
So Jeff's tapping out to play the Sedge Troll.
Mm-hmm. Mano stopping in and saying, just Moon, please. All right, so Jeff took a point there.
3 mana, we're going to Side Blast, get that troll right out of the way. Only taking 2, because that's pretty lucky, never draws Cities of Brass, takes damage.
Yeah.
Just a Maze of Ith. Looks like we might be a little bit mana starved over there.
Ooh.
Strip Mine.
That Strip Mine could do some work here. Now, he could go for that city and recognize that Jeff hasn't been able to have his land drops, because obviously you don't want to play that Maze of Ith right now.
Jeff thinks that he's going to play something for that land disappears.
I'm sure he's got something to respond. Ideally, it'd be Ancestral Recall. Help him get out, get through that mana
take
flood.
The 3 just to Side Blast the face.
Yeah. Ooh, Shatter.
Maybe taking a point of burn to do that.
Okay, so takes a point from the city and a point of mana burn, but he draws a land right off the top.
That.
Never didn't have it. Lotus from Seth.
Brain Geyser
for 3. Red Blast.
Red Blast, there he goes. I'm just going to have an opportunity to play a Blood Moon or something big.
I don't think he wants to play a Blood Moon now.
Completely take the white off and the blue. I'm pretty sure Jeff wants to play a Blood Moon the moment he has the opportunity to. goes.
All right, going on the offensive with the factory. Ooh.
Oof, taking 3 to do that. Get rid of it.
Use the removal that you got to use, though, right?
That's painful. But so getting beat every turn for 2. Single card in hand. Jeff just passive. Seth drawing. A little bit of draw go here.
Strip mine. All right, so after that strip mine, Jeff has drawn nothing but mana sources, but they've all been good with Factory, City of Brass, strip mine, Volcanic Island. Seems okay. And there's a bolt.
It's not a good sign when your opponent's got a full grip and he's bolting you during your end step.
Yeah. Seth probably have some Swords of Plowshares or something going on in his hand right now.
Jeff daring him to shoot it back at him.
Yeah. Chaos Orb. Okay.
Retap that land, definitely. Good.
Seth sporting the 2 different arts for the plateaus with his 1 4 and black bordered and the 1 unlimited on the table.
Yeah, that triggers my OCD.
It's another thing from when I was playing more competitive Magic was that had to have everything matching arts, had to make sure that well, there's a Sarah Angel. You know, had to make sure that the condition was top notch. Then I joined old school where condition doesn't really matter all the time. And I'm coming around to not caring about the arts matching. So.
Oh man, it irks me. I don't understand how some dude got $10,000 in summer cards. He's playing like 4 digits or 5 shit.
All right, so Seth now has a Sarah on the table.
We got 2 Maids of Ifs on Jeff's side, though.
Yeah.
Jeff hoping that Seth commits more creatures to the board so they can be eaten by a disc.
Could be some Drago still.
Definitely favors Jeff the draw go the longer the game goes.
Definitely.
And got Sonic Blast.
Side Blast.
Put Seth down to 4. Tapping again, boom.
Swords on the Angel to survive.
To stay alive.
And there's the flash
and the
counter.
flash counter.
The flash counter. Huge, huge, huge. So, this ends up being a little lopsided. Whoops. And, alright, so we're going to bring it into the players. And we're going to listen in on what they have to say.
What'd you bring in? So you brought 2 swords in?
I brought 2 swords, 4 Bebs, 2 Divine Offerings, and a Sarah.
Oh, wow. Big, big.
I took out all my little things and my draw 7s. I took all this out against you.
Yeah, I figured you would take out your draw 7s, but I wasn't positive. I took out my discs just because I couldn't afford to have you Divine Offer get 4 life. I wasn't sure.
I figured you would bring in Blood Moon.
Yeah, I only have 2. I definitely did not bring in flash fires because that card is unplayable. This is what I brought in.
Yeah, I figured. I can't believe the Reb got
the singleton Reb. I had it all, Seth.
Yeah, it was not my night.
No,
not my night. Good games, man.
Yeah, good games. At least they were really interactive. I feel like I had it all, and you had just a lot of clunky shit.
Yeah, I mean,
two mulls to 5 doesn't help.
Yeah, I mean, my hands were just bad. The first hand was like Sarah, a bolt, a chain, 3 lands, and something else. So like it wasn't even good. Like you didn't want the Sarah there, and I was dead to a Blood Moon, and I was like, again, like it doesn't have it just didn't do anything, right?
I drew both
and
my majors too. Like
the Mold 6 had 1 land, I think, and it was like a strip.
Yeah, Seth, you got rid of his 1 land, and then Jeff drew nothing but lands, but it was Factory, City of Brass, Maze of Ith, Strip Mine, so it was all good lands that he drew and he was able to do stuff with, which was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I couldn't have drawn much hotter versus Seth's cold draws.
And if you would have boarded in more Red Elemental Blasts, you wouldn't have seen them. But only because you only put in the 1, that's why you saw it.
I 100% agree with that. And also because you mentioned flash counter at the beginning of the match, it came in handy 2 times.
I definitely had to mention it. It's kind of like the commentator curse there. So it was definitely impactful in the match and won two of the games for you. So
yeah. I was questioning it in the first 8 matches, and then it came in pretty handy there.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, gentlemen, congrats on making it this far, Seth.
Fun playing with Seth always.
Yeah, kick some ass for me, please.
Yeah, and Jeff, congrats on making it to the finals. And then I'm looking forward to watching that final matchup. So, gentlemen, good games. Thank you very much, and thanks for allowing me to stream.
Thanks for streaming, Rich. I appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah.
And Pez for commenting.
Thanks.
Have a good night, guys.
Yeah, take care. Bye.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's all she wrote. So, Pez, thank you very much for joining me for commentary. That was fun, as always. And thanks everybody for watching. So, what does my t-shirt say? Sorry, I can't. I have plans with my couch. So, all right. So, with that, everybody, thank you for joining the stream tonight. I hope you had a fun time with watching this matchup. And then I hope you realize that Flash Counter is an excellent card. So that maybe everybody should be running that. My regularly scheduled stream is Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern. I play 3 rounds of Old School Magic with the Northern Paladins as part of the Tuesday night gauntlet. So join me then. I appreciate everybody who stopped in tonight. You all have a good night, and I will see you next Tuesday.